Hello Booktube people, my name is Jenny and I'm here today to do the Booktube Top Tens Tag by Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse. He is collecting the top 10 books of as many booktubers as will make videos, and he's compiling that data to create a master list. I don't think my list is going to make that much difference because he has revealed the top 10 thus far, and a lot of the books in that top 10 I have not yet read, so I can't really rate them, but I have put together a list of what I have right now and what I have read so far, and I'm going to share that with you. So I'm going to start with book 10. My book 10 is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I do feel like this story is a staple in anyone's reading experience. It is a part of Western culture that has gotten its claws into everything, and I love reading it. I love the experience of it, and I love the overall messages in it. So it is a wonderful story to me and always will be. Number 9 is the Margaret Atwood that I picked. I've read a lot of Margaret Atwood. She's my second most read author in my library, so it's a little bit tricky to pick one book to represent all her books, but The Handmaid's Tale gets talked about a lot. The Mad Adams series gets talked about a lot. I like this one the best. I reread Cat's Eye, which is the first Margaret Atwood I had ever read a few years ago, and realized that I had mixed up the plot of Cat's Eye with Robber Bride and had created a kind of hybrid book in my mind that was my favorite Margaret Atwood. So after rereading Cat's Eye, I can say that Robber Bride is the book that I love the most of what I've read of hers so far. And it's a story about female friendship. It's a bit dramatic and cutthroat, but underneath lines of the female friendship is what really compelled me to love this story. Number 8 is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I just mentioned this book in another tag recently, but this is a beautiful story if you need an uplifting read. It talks about finding solace in nature, the power of friendship, and it just offers beautiful, lyrically written descriptions of an English country garden, which we all need from time to time to read about. Number 7 is the Anne of Green Gables book series. I couldn't pick just one of those books that I feel was the best. I think the whole series is exceptional, and while not all of the books are equal in quality, I think that over half of them are really wonderful reads. Book number 6 is The Fifth Sacred Thing by Starhawk. This is a fantasy story. It presents a world that I hope one day we will live in. So it is a book of hope for me. It is a book that shows you how the world could be if we did have a kind of common sense of values. The society in this story is structured around the idea that there are 5 sacred things in humanity that we all need, and they're all based around the elements. And I really, really encourage you to pick it up if you enjoy fantasy and if you want to have a read that could offer you a different perspective of what the future could be for all of us. Number 5 is Roots by Alex Haley. This was the first epic family saga that I read from an African American perspective. I was very moved by it. I will definitely reread it in the future, and I continue to think about it, and it continues to be a benchmark for me in terms of the writing around the African American experience from a certain time period. So from slavery, coming over on the slave ships, and enduring slavery in the southern United States. My number 4 book is Through the Flower, My Struggle as a Woman Artist by Judy Chicago. Judy Chicago is a feminist artist. She began her work in the late 60s and encountered an extreme amount of sexism and adversity. I read this book as a young art student, and it gave me so much courage, and it gave me, I kind of feel like it was a shield against the difficulties that I faced from the professors and professional artists around me who were putting down my perspective and the work that I wanted to make. So reading this book was pivotal to me. I read it on a bus trip on the way to New York City to look at art and experience that city. And it is forever blazed on my soul and in my heart as a book that helped me get somewhere that I needed to go and helped form who I am today. Book number 3 is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, and I would say that this book also has helped me form who I am today. I have spoken again about this in another tag video, so I won't go too long into it, but the 4 sisters in this book I find extremely relatable by almost anyone. You can find yourself in one or 2 or all 4 of these sisters, and you can use that as kind of a little roadmap of coming of age. And it is just a masterfully told story. I would say at this stage it is my favorite American novel that I've ever read, and it's just an enduring classic. Number 2 is The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje. I fell in love with Kip, the bomb diffuser in this story. His character is definitely one of my favorite characters I've ever read in a story. His integrity, his drive, his will to pursue what is right were just beautiful to me. And Ondaatje's writing, I find, to sweep me up and take me somewhere else, and that is an admirable quality. And I know I'm not the only one that loves this book, and I know that there's some people that hate this book, but it did win the Golden Booker, so I think it's, a really great choice if you're gonna love a book. And number 1, no one should be surprised by this, is The Diviners by Margaret Lawrence. This is a Canadian classic. I don't know how else to describe this book because I've talked about it a lot. I've done a single review of it. I love Morag Gunn. She's the main character in this story. She's a super empowered character who has flaws but is very authentic and lives her true life. She's a great role model for anyone in how to be a real person, an authentic person. And this book is stories within stories, different timelines, but still fairly linear in terms of moving from the past to past forward, not jumping back and forth too much, but still dipping in and out of memories, dipping in and out of different characters in a very fluid and seamless way. I just think this book is a masterpiece and that everyone should read it. So I'll say it one more time. Everyone should read this book. So that is my Booktube Top 10 tag. I want to thank you for watching, And I'm very excited to see the results of Jason's data once he puts it all together. And I would encourage you to go and have a look at some of the other Booktube Top 10 videos that other booktubers have created. I find them really fascinating to watch and very entertaining. And I will talk to you again soon.